Talk point, we'll be looking at the implementation of the 6334 system of education in Nigeria. We want to know if that system actually made impact or not, or it's transition now to the 934 system, which we're looking at, which is explaining why the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, is saying that anybody under 18 years of age cannot write GCE or NECO. It's a source of concern to Nigerians, and that's what we're looking at today. I have a guest in the studio. Is Comrade Popoola Ajayi. Comrade, nice to have you on Talk Point.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, let me first ask you on your assessment of the education system in Nigeria. If you look at it from independence, then post-independence up to probably 1985, how can you just juxtapose and give us?
Certainly, you are asking me to compare apple and orange in terms of standard, in terms of stability of the system. What we had was the kind of system inherited from the colonial masters. And, they are serious, they are organized, and they have a strong system and structures to back up whatever policy, our colonialists. But immediately after independence, yes, it continues. Remember, all that was done in the Western region, to make education accessible to everybody, that is from primary school. And then we had a standard 7, where you have 7 years in primary school. Then later it changed to 6 years, 5 years, whatever. But of course, after independence from the 80s, let me even say, especially from the military incursion to our body politics, that is where the degeneration of our system started from. And, policy inconsistencies, in fact, was the hallmark of, or has been the hallmark of our body policy since 1966 that the military intervened in our affairs. So, the 70s, you have universal UBE, and all of that. But, all attempts by the government, successive governments, to put education right or policies right is being problematic. And, in the 80s, there was this introduction of 6334 system, which was to move away from just academics to skill acquisition. And of course, if you remember then, some of us who were aware then, there was these big boxes containing tools. They were distributed to all schools then. And I'm very sure none of them was ever installed, whether stolen or eaten up by termites, So the system collapsed ab initio. It was a well thought out policy where, after 3 years, if a child is not strong academically, so he can now veer to skill acquisition, learning a skill, and then after the first 3 years, can now continue, the trade. So, but of course, we have a system that relies so much on paper qualification that it seems as if you don't have that certificate, you are nobody. So the desperation to acquire that paper and not knowledge, crept in. And you now find a situation where, of course, the corruption that has engulfed our entire time system, equally found its way to education system too. where you now have got to a point where we have special centers, where we have, all sorts of things.
Yes. I actually wanted you to give a preamble of some of these things that you also will let our audience or viewers know about. Now, having said that, the 6334 system, just like you said, it was introduced in 1983, precisely.
Yeah.
But looking at that period, we're supposed to have for any child that is between age 6 and 11 will go for the first 6 years of primary education, the next 3 years of skill acquisition to bridge the gap.
Yes.
Then another 3 years before you now go to tertiary institution. Now, that policy, has it really helped us? Because if you look at it, you mentioned that, yes, it was maybe Talmant had eaten some of those things. But did we even have enough of those boxes in the first instance?
It's not even having enough. Even the one that we had, were they installed? No. So the system did not work. That's just the summary. So there is no point, beating around the bush. The system did not work. The system failed. Then even today, even the traditional technical colleges, how are they faring? How many students do you have there? So it's as if everybody wants to acquire a degree at all costs. So therefore, jettisoning the skill acquisition end of the program. So the program failed. There's no point debating that. It never worked. And of course, the issue then was like even the entry age.
Yes.
When we were, the older people will understand what I'm saying, that when we were to enroll in primary school in our own days, we'll be asked to place our hands,
something like that.
Yeah,
yes.
Our hands above, across our head.
Yes.
If your fingers cannot touch your ears, you'll be told that
you're not ready for secondary
school. You are not ready. No,
for primary school. Yes.
So, and of course, they're very funny. But later on, when I grew up, I remember the first year I was taken there, I was sent back because, well, I was a bit fatty and short then. So
but there couldn't it have been a disadvantage because your age might actually be matured to enter a primary school. But if you're not tall enough or your hand is not tall enough.
But it doesn't really matter. So it doesn't really matter. Then before you enter primary school, in fact, you must have no matter what you do, except you are the people who call them a teacher. Maybe your father is the principal or headmaster, so we can, put you there. But no matter what you do, you must attain age 6 minimum.
Why was that system put in place that you must be 6 years old to attain primary school? Because if you look at it, what if somebody had gotten matured at age 3 or 4?
You can't. It's not possible. In fact, it's against nature. A child, in fact, it's quite unfortunate. Most of the problems that we blame government for and even the policymakers are caused by the parents themselves. We have mothers who are probably full-time housewives or who are petty traders, trading around their houses or something. So they would take a child that is less than a year, take them to what you call crèche. Then over there, they will be teaching them A for apple, set and capital, what their brain has not developed to pick. So, in fact, there are many children, that were taken to a school that were supposed to still be playing around. Playing around is learning. Learning is not just about going to school. What you learn at home, even the UK or other fields, they will not know underage child, a child less than 6 will start formal school. So you can have a crèche where they have a lot of toy to play with, that play. Interacting with each other at that level is still learning, it's the education. So it is only here that a child that is barely that could not even talk, you expect them to go and learn something. No. So I believe sincerely that for a child to develop in order to develop, for a child to develop and grasp what
mentally or with
the
brain,
mentally,
yeah.
it must reach that age of 6. So we are not debating that. So, and the earlier we realize that, okay, some of them at age 14 or 15, they're already writing WAEC or JAMP or
Yes.
what have you. Then something will happen along the line. They'll waste 2-3 years maybe to get admission or for one thing or the other. Then by the time they get to higher institution, they hardly can do anything on their own.
Because they are not yet kind of independent.
Yes, they're not mature enough.
Yes, if you look at that system, the 63-4 up to a tertiary institution, that's about 16-year stretch for you to have finished your education. But if you look at the developed countries too, you find out that some of them graduate before then. And they also have, some even have master's degree and doctorate degree. So how can we now juxtapose it? How can we, because if you're saying that the 6334 system is okay, or probably will transit to the 934 system, how can we now juxtapose it? Looking at what the Minister of Education is saying currently, that if you are less than 18, you cannot write NECO or WAEC.
No, that statement, let me say that's policy, that statement, to me, is wrong. Because already we have children who are in school, who entered secondary school probably at 9, 10, whatever. What will you now tell them? To sit down at home? That some of them will be going to SS3 now. So what will you tell them? That no, you repeat SS2 or you go back to SS1 so that you'll be 18 before you write WAEC. Those who are in there are in there. So what? Okay, now we are starting another school year. So you can now say, okay, going forward, if a child is not up to X age, don't enroll them to primary school. Then, of course, we have some of these private schools too. Even the primary 6, they don't have primary 6. They only have up to primary 5 before they push their children or their pupils to secondary school. So these are things that you have to correct. That no matter what, that 6 years must be completed.
At the primary level. Okay, so you are an advocate of completing the 6 years at the primary level.
Yes.
Okay, what of the in between? If a child does well, let's assume a child has completed the 6-year primary level and a child does well and possibly excels so much that they have to push the child and the brain can still carry it. Are you against that period?
There is no, if the entry point, if the entry age is 6.
Yes.
If the entry
because my producer is also saying yes, there is the double promotion, which I also agree, is from the primary school.
So if the entry age is 6, primary school, by the time you get to we finish primary school, you're already 12. Then if you now spend another 6 years, in fact, I don't believe in double promotion.
Why?
Within our system here, I don't believe, let the child follow step by step. You don't need to jump. If you jump, you meet it in the future. So that's my own belief. Then yes, if you go elsewhere, yes, that's elsewhere. Every community, every society must have their own rules. That if you want to study in Nigeria, you must go this route. Okay. If you want anything else, go elsewhere. So that would be my advice. But given the level of our education system, the quality of the education, I would say that it's nothing like double promotion. Let them, okay, even if we look at the children going to the public school, private school where they pay millions, how many of them have led WAEC or scored the highest result in JAMP? So it's still the public school. So to me, let us invest more in our public school. Let us have good teaching aids, all the materials needed for then an environment that is conducive for learning. So, and forget these double or triple promotions.
Okay, if you say they should forget the trouble or do promotion, well, it may be to the disadvantage of some other children who are very good.
I don't know what you call disadvantage. You cannot, by the time you get to a tertiary institution, you can excel. I think you understand. Okay, even today, if you are so brilliant that you have double promotion in primary and secondary school, will you have the same thing when you get to university in Nigeria?
No, it won't happen. With the system, it won't happen. Okay, now, okay, we agree that it won't happen. But what is a situation where the child excels? Because I'm comparing it with a child abroad going to the same institution. It may not be the same name, but going to our institution, let me put it that way, and the person does well, and some years, maybe cuts 2 or 3 years, and the person is already a master's degree holder, is already a doctorate degree, because some have their doctorate degree at 22, 24.
It's not,
how will this system work for them to have this in Nigeria?
It's not unusual. I said, no matter how brilliant you are, you pass through that stage. By the time, okay, even where you are even saying we are saying that we have a peculiar system whereby even 4-year course can be turned out to be 7 years due to incessant ASU strike and other dislocation within the education system. So no matter how brilliant we are first class, if you still have to pass through that rudiment. That's what we are saying. Yes, elsewhere, every community, every society have their own way of doing things. You can go elsewhere to go and become graduate at 10. So there are exceptions. And like somebody rightly observed somewhere, hey, we have these genius. They have finished primary school at age 3, some university at age 10, PhD at 16, what have you. How many of such has been attached to maybe scientific discovery or something exceptional in future? So the only time we hear about them is when they finish secondary school or acquire their PhD. What do they do with that PhD acquired at age 15 or at age 4 or at age 10? So that is the issue. So there's a way nature will pilot you, to attain whatever you want to attain. I'm not saying that a brilliant child should be kept at home. No, let that child go to school. Let him or her play with his age mate. Let them relate. They grow together in the final analysis, and the society will be better. So, but I will repeat that I disagree with the minister that said a child that is not up to 18 years cannot ride the common bike and NECO and jump. No, that is wrong. You can't impede their growth. They are in there, they are in there. So you cannot start the implementation this year or next year.
So for that to happen, from what the minister said, that for that to happen, it has to be probably in another 4, 5, or 6 years.
Yeah, that's exactly what we are saying.
Is that what you're advocating?
That's exactly what we are saying, that look, whoever want to enroll secondary school now, let them, primary school, not even secondary school. Whoever is in secondary school already,
they're already in the system.
They are already in the system. Okay. So let them run through. They run through. Then subsequently, you can now say, okay, from this year, from 2024, if a child is not up to 6 years, don't enroll them in primary school.
Oh, okay. It's getting clearer now. So that's your position now, so that at least it won't be a disadvantage.
No, it won't be a disadvantage to anybody.
Okay, yes. As we round up now, what advice do you have for those in the education sector? Because we have loans by NEL Fund, and we also have the ministers who are also trying to ensure that they revamp the system. What advice do you have for them now as we round up?
Well, education is the backbone of development. For most of the things that we see happening here, whether insurgency, terrorism, these are born, some of the things are born out of ignorance, that if they are well educated and well exposed, I don't see them, attaching bomb to themselves to go and kill themselves, let alone killing other people. So education is very essential. In fact, I commend Mr. President for that student loan. Then for those, in fact, there's one Honorable Laoshi who took the loan in the 80s and just paid back recently.
Wow.
Yes, and I want people of that generation too, because a lot of them took the loan and never paid back. And that was why the first one collapsed. So I commend Mr. President for signing and ensuring that this one pick up immediately. And to the children, I'll say congratulations. Nothing is too more to be, not too more to be done to revamp our education system. Because fundamentally, in fact, I will even encourage government to spend more. Even if we are committing like 30% of our entire resources to education, it's not too bad. And the more we spend, the better for the society. Because we need to overhaul the entire system. There are a lot of schools everywhere across the country. How many teachers do we have? Then what's the quality of teachers we have today? So even many of the teachers needs training and retraining, then education material, teaching material must be provided for schools. Then all the dilapidated blocks and roofs should be
repaired.
Okay, and let us have the school that anybody would love to attend, particularly our public school.
Okay, I've been speaking with Comrade Popoola Ajayi, and we've been talking on implementing the 634 system of education in Nigeria, looking at the statement by the Minister of Education that no child should, from henceforth, have a right to WAEC before age 18. And those are the issues and other connected issues we've been discussing. I want to thank you so much, Comrade Ajayi Popoola, for being part of Talk Point.
Thank you.
I guess it's your first time coming on board. Have you been here before?
I think it's my first time.
Okay, so we still have more of you to discuss issues on national development. Thank you so much for being part of Talk Point. And on that note, we have come to the end of Talk Point. 767 and 112. And still the lines always call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble. Ensure that you do what is right so that Lagos and indeed Nigeria can get better. I am Omololu Rosan. See you some other time.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.